Membership means more with American Express Business Gold. Earn 4 times membership rewards points in your top 2 eligible spending categories every month, including eligible U.S. advertising purchases and select media, and U.S. purchases at restaurants, including takeout and delivery. What are you waiting for? Get the card that flexes with your spending every month. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day. And that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Had to take accountability and, because it was like, man, my credit sucks. I can't do anything. I had the woe is me. I didn't want to take accountability for that. But when I did, I had to accept where I was at, that I was making, it's something about my ain't credit. They keep giving me ain't credit cards and ain't credit limits and, ain't interest rate. That's what happened. It was something about the decisions I was making, and I had to be accountable and recognize those things, that it was me. What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense, your favorite barbershop style podcast. I'm Tavares Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferg, joined my co-host Buff and Razi. Fellas, take it away.
215 dead bodies buried behind a prison in Jackson, Mississippi. And it has gotten some coverage, but it has, for the seriousness of this, it has gotten zero coverage by comparison of other things. Dexter Wade, he was hit by, this is according to them, he was hit by a Jackson police officer with his car. He was hit by a car and was killed. They're claiming that they couldn't get in contact with the family, so they just buried him. All 215 of these dead bodies, they are claiming that they either couldn't get in touch with the family, or it was the morgue's responsibility to get in touch with the family and never did. Either way, there are 215 different families who had no idea where their missing relatives were. Now, this is Jackson, Mississippi. The population in Jackson, Mississippi is like less than 150,000 people. Like you can almost fit the entire city in Happy Valley Stadium in Penn State. They hold 107,000 people. You could damn near fit the entire town in that stadium. You telling me don't nobody know nobody that know nobody? How hard were they trying to where they couldn't, 215 different families, that they couldn't find nobody who was related to them to alert them that they had a deceased family member? And so, of course, that begs all other type of questions, how they died. A lot of them don't even know how they were killed. And they were just buried behind this prison, which I'm told they were forcing prisoners to bury these people. It doesn't even seem like 2024. I couldn't believe the story. I thought it was fake. It was so ridiculous.
It's wild, man. Like they didn't even embalm the people. So they were like, vultures were flying over. There was a stench back there. It's like, it's not even like okay, we can't find them. We're gonna give them their full burial rights and just honor them a little bit, But they didn't even track. They have numbers. They didn't even track like who the people were. That's how bad it was. Like when we say unmarked, it's completely unmarked.
So I have questions. So it's unmarked, 215 unmarked graves. Have they identified all 215 people?
I don't think they have. Mm-mm. I know they have identified some. They're predominantly black. There are some white people, but I don't think they've identified all 215.
Nope.
Were any of these people prisoners prior?
I I don't know.
Was it behind because there was a state penitentiary out there, or is it like a local?
I believe it's a local jail.
Mm-hmm.
If unless you know Razi,
No, that's what I think.
And that's the thing, Ferg. It's been covered so little. It's been like I scoured for articles written on it, and pretty much everything had about the same amount of information.
So I'm a very basic person when it comes to just logic. So you brought up some very interesting things. One, 215 people. They said they tried to contact people. Sometimes we don't know the extent. But how many times does it take to come up with a process? The first 3 people we're going to send carrier pigeon. That didn't work. Telegram for the next 5. That didn't work. Somewhere in the mid 50s, you probably have at least a process to say, okay, this is how we're going to contact people. So the remaining 165 people should have, did they have something at 216 that they were going to get right? The 216th person was going to be the person they finally decided, this is how we get in touch with the families. It's just, to me, it doesn't make sense. You can't get it wrong 215 times.
It shows lack of effort. I don't care what they say. Like we saw when Natalie Holloway, one teenager, went missing in an island that's in Aruba, far away. She went missing. There was wall-to-wall coverage. We sent FBI agents down there. Like there were multiple searches for her. It got national attention. If Jackson police, the local city, if they couldn't so-called find these relatives, you ask for federal resources. But you don't give a damn because they're black or because they're poor or whatever the case may be. You want to get away because the whole you hit someone with a car and kill them and said, well, we tried to get in touch with somebody, we couldn't. That's it. We just buried them.
No ID on 215.
There was ID on them. They literally had ID. That's how the last guy who they hit with the car, Wade, Dexter, he had ID on him, so they knew exactly who he was. And the family is saying that they never had any missed calls or anything like that. No voice messages. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things.
The family in Jackson?
I think a police officer said they went by the house once and nobody was there. And the family is like, did you leave a card? Did you come back? How many times did you try? So you just came one time and that was it?
I mean, I don't know if there's a haze.
Lack of effort,
we hit your uncle got hit by a car and he's at the morgue and we don't know how to get in touch with you. Card. I don't know if there's like a greeting card for that or something. So it makes no sense. I don't get it. I get frustrated. But I will correct you on something. You said it didn't seem like it's 2024. It definitely seems like it's 2024.
Speaking of 2024, I can't keep up. 2024 is like what we thought season 8 of Game of Thrones was going to be. Like we thought all the scores were going to be settled and everything. First off, Cat Williams kicked off 2024 just sniping everybody. And then after him, Stephen A. Smith comes and he attacks this journalist named Jason Whitlock. And then you got Aaron Rodgers going at Jimmy Kimmel. You got Hunter Biden trolling Congress. Like this loser, they've been begging for him to come testify. He went to a hearing and sat in the crowd and pissed him off. Like they were literally talking about him while he was sitting there. She was like, yeah, look at you sitting there. You're supposed to be testifying. You got, it's reported that Condoleezza Rice has been contacted about head coaching the Cleveland Browns. Speaking of head coaches, the GOAT of college football retired. Yeah. The GOAT of the NFL, Bill Belichick, retired. By the way, the GOAT of college football, Nick Saban. Pete Carroll, forced out. Then you got Draymond Green, who was suspended indefinitely, and he met with the commissioner, and it's like, I don't think I want to play basketball no more if I can't kick dudes in the nuts and choke them on the court. Like he literally said he thought about retiring because the NBA is like, dog, you got to cut it out. And he's like, well, I can't play if I got to cut it out. Like, that is wild to me. And then the boxer we went to go see, who's usually mild-mannered, Bud Crawford, he going at all these fighters on Twitter. And then last but not least, we got Young Thug who's still in court. And for whatever reason, LeBron James and Serena Williams became the subject of attention. They're like asking, have you ever seen them? I guess this
use
game
the word
that,
slime and yeah.
Sliming. It's wild. 2024, slow down.
Hey,
I can't keep up.
And we can't forget about Alabama now. Alabama is, we talk about Nick Saban, but we can't forget about the good old guy trying to go swimming in the Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh yeah, no, it was it a Bass? I thought it was Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah,
and it's the one in me. My kids literally have a Santa Claus picture in front of that little pool or whatever inside of Bass Pro Shop.
So did he just want to go swimming that bad? Like, what was the?
I don't know. He stripped down.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say in his defense. Do they have a sign that says no swimming?
I don't know. I don't think so.
In it. Okay. Well, no one told him he couldn't. But so on a more serious note, last thing I got.
With that same logic, does a Capitol have a sign that says no rioting?
No storming?
Yes.
No.
Yes. We had people there saying, get back. They didn't get back. That's okay. That's the other thing. Did they have somebody that say no swimming?
They didn't have a lifeguard.
They did have people like, get down, sir. Why are you taking off your clothes, sir? Like, the cops were walking up to him when he jumped in.
Would not have wanted to be the one to arrest him because he was butterball naked. No thanks. And I'm good on that.
But we haven't.
The other thing I got, man.
We haven't touched on a serious issue of 2024.
What's that?
There's still going crazy in the Middle East. It's ramped up.
Yeah.
It's an election.
South Africa is going after Israel.
Yeah. They brought him up to the International Criminal Court for genocide. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot. I mean, this political season is going to be the craziest one in U.S. history. I think. Nobody can afford to lose. The loser might go to jail. Is that crazy?
But the crazy thing about it, Trump is the front runner for Republicans, right? We talk about the political season, and he's in court literally saying that he can kill his political opponent as long as he's the president, and unless he gets impeached, he can't actually be tried in criminal court, which is the dumbest thing in the world. Like, that's his argument, is that he has absolute immunity as president.
I gotta tell you, he has a house that probably would not impeach him for that. I just want to get one last thing. Went to a retirement seminar the last 2 days at my job. I think something like that should be mandatory at nearly every career. Very informative. And, if you don't think about it when you're in your 20s, you kind of start thinking about it in your 30s. When you're in your 40s, you really, really start thinking about it. So if that's something you haven't thought about, give it some attention, because life expectancy is longer than it used to be, and you don't want to be in your 70s and 80s poor. So if you can help it, pay attention to your finances, and have a plan. Have a goal, and just do your best to reach that goal. But very informative. And if your job doesn't have that type of thing, push for them to get one. Because a lot of people, it's so many different options out there. Like, people just don't know. You just don't know. So look into that, man. That's all I got. That was a lot, but that's all I got.
Definitely was, man. I'll just add to the sports talk. You talked about all the coaches that are retiring. Ja Morant's out for the season. So he just got back, and now he's out for the season. So that kind of sucks for the Memphis fans out there. But on a brighter note, Baby Phat is bringing back their classic bubble jacket. So, Byron, I know you got to get one for Tab. I know she wants one because, I mean, it actually looks pretty dope. I'll send y'all a picture of it. But for all the ladies out there that had that Baby Phat bubble jacket.
What do you mean it looks pretty dope? What is it? Did they change it?
They changed it a little bit. It has a little fur. I mean, it's cut a little bit different, but they are reintroducing
it. Had the fur last time.
Did it? So it's the exact same one, but it looks dope. Because it's the 25th anniversary of it, and so they are bringing it back. And so, ladies, if you had one and you miss it, or you wanted it and couldn't get it back then, but you got the money now, go ahead and get you one of those Baby Phat puffer jackets. You know you want them.
Ferg, what's wrong?
Don't get a Baby Phat puffer jacket. Just don't.
Why not? Vintage, bruh. Vintage is good. Like throwback. I mean.
So is Wild Hours Rose, bruh. It's vintage. It's been around for years, bruh. Don't go drink Wild Hours Rose. It's just go.
I like that puffer jacket though. I really did like that puffer jacket. Like it fit. It was a good cut. It was kind of higher. It was cut higher. I mean, I like that jacket. I'm not even gonna lie.
All it takes is a couple influencers. To make a nice TikTok.
If it comes back and it starts annoying us, I'm blaming you, bruh. You're gonna be in the first Three Brothers No Sense Ever timeout.
How you gonna put me in timeout, man? But that's the only other thing I had. One more thing I had is I want to say screw Kamicon, which is Birmingham's comic convention that they have every year. I don't know what they were thinking. They don't know where they're at or something. But it is literally the same weekend as Fat Tuesday and Fat Tuesday weekend, Skinny Monday, all that. So I'm going to miss Comic-Con to go to Mardi Gras, and I'm just mad at them for making me have to choose. I don't like that. So I think everybody should work around Mardi Gras if you're in the South. It's just my rule that they should do. But for anybody who is not going to Mardi Gras and you're here in Birmingham, go check out Comic-Con, man. It's a good time. You get to cosplay. You get to see a lot of artists and actors and things like that. So it's a really, really good time here in Birmingham if you're in the area and want to check that out. So that's all I got, man.
I'm going to light it up. We kind of talked about Trump earlier and just the fact that he's going through a $370 million civil suit, which is just completely crazy. The former president of the United States, the front runner in the GOP party for president this upcoming election, is sitting in the courtroom right now. And it's not trumped up charges. These are legit. He's probably going to be found guilty.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
And this is what we're stuck with. So actually I was listening to, never mind, I want to get into that. But I'm lighting it up. So some series that what I'm excited about is, I didn't know, maybe I missed the memo. The Halo series on Showtime.
Never heard of it.
Either one of you guys heard about that? Apparently season 2 starts next week.
What's it about?
I saw Halo.
Oh, okay.
The game, yeah. Xbox game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw a trailer for it or a commercial for it the other day, and I'm like, is a new Halo coming out? Hold on. This is a game? No, this is the movie. And then I looked, and it says series, because I thought it was going to be a movie. Then it was like series, season premiere, January 15th. I'm like, okay, new series. Then I Googled it. Apparently it's season 2. And I'm like, hold on, where did season 1 go? And I felt like this was something you would have told us about, Razi. So you're slipping.
Yeah, obviously.
While you over here researching bubble jackets and shit, you need to be keeping your ear to the ground and keeping us abreast of the real stuff that's important. Secondly, I'm so excited about Avatar coming out February 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Any of our Avatar, The Last Airbender fans, I know it's not a true anime, but one of the best
Animated series.
Animated series ever. And then if you're, for anybody that has Disney Plus, a good family show is Percy Jackson.
Yes. Sophie is in love with it. So I think the first 4 episodes have dropped.
Yeah, they had first 5. The fifth one came out the other day, and Sky, who usually doesn't like shows like that, especially unless they're animated, really likes it. And considering that one of the primary characters is a young black girl, she identifies and loves her even more, loves the show even more. So just some things you're looking at to be looking out for. So Percy Jackson comes out, new episodes every Tuesday on Disney Plus at 8 p.m. because we sat down Tuesday to watch it and did not realize it didn't come out to 8 p.m. So we made time. We were sitting down at 7 o'clock, made daddy-daughter time, and there was like, hold on, something's going on. Then I had to Google it and found out it comes out at 8. So with that being said, fellas, we'll go ahead and jump into the show. Anything else we want to get off our chest beforehand?
No, I'm watching Echo. I'm almost done with that. Got like 2 episodes.
How are you feeling about that? I was gonna bring
I haven't started it yet.
I'm 3 episodes in, 2 episodes in.
Okay, so we the same. Yeah,
and I'm still trying to feel like how I feel about it. She's annoying as hell.
I like the fighting scenes. That's what I can say.
The first two. I think I'm on the first 2 episodes. I don't know if I'm on the 3rd episode. I might have been in the 3rd episode. But she's just annoying. She's kind of bratty.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she is.
Character growth, bro. They have to, make her get an arc in the 5 episodes.
It's more so. Yeah,
I'm still expecting a lot out of these last 2, so I'm gonna withhold judgment until I watch the entirety.
But Daredevil does make an appearance, so that's good. There's some good stuff on it. So,
cool.
With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Let's go.
Who wants to go first?
You didn't get a question last week, so
I didn't. Okay. Yeah. So my question is very simple. I sent you guys a video earlier this week talking about accountability. You remember that one? Gentleman was talking about, I think it might actually, was it a woman talking about?
It's a woman.
No, it was a gentleman talking about accountability. If you need to take a second, you remember the video, Buff?
I think I do.
I mean, I don't think you don't have to look at the video to answer my question. So my question is 2 parts. What exactly is accountability? And why is it important?
Accountability is fairly simple on the surface. It's basically when you mess up, when you make a mistake, when you get something wrong, you own it. You don't put blame on this or that or this person or that person. You own it. Hey, I messed up. You know what I mean? That's what it is. What was the second part of the question?
Why is it important?
It is important because that is what growth is. It's how you learn. It shows that you can learn from your mistakes. You'll learn from your mistakes. Because if you don't hold yourself accountable and you do something wrong, and I say, well, it's because of Razi. So now you have told yourself, hey, what you did wasn't so bad. You just got to remove Razi from the situation and you can keep moving how you was moving and then do the same dumb shit again. Or, you move a certain way and you never learn from it. You never learn from it. You keep doing it over and over, expecting a different result. You keep getting the same result. Until you have some type of accountability, you're going to always move that same way because you're going to always feel like, well, it's not me. They're the problem or that's the problem. And it's just an important part of maturing and growing up and making better decisions. You can't make a better decision until you realize what you're doing wrong.
Listening to your answer made me come up with another question, and I don't know. Would you like me to hold off, Razi, or
yeah?
you want to jump in?
Let me kind of jump in there on the what is accountability, because I think you framed it, Buff, in if you make a mistake or in owning the mistake and everything. But I think to expand on that, accountability is also where maybe you didn't make a mistake, but you still didn't succeed. And so being accountable for not being good enough, right? Or not prepping enough, or not putting in enough work, and still, like you said, blaming everything else, right? We talk a lot about systemic racism and generational wealth and all of that, breaking curses and all that stuff. And, you know, this is the pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of mentality. But at the same time, there has to be some self-accountability in that. Your situations makes it harder, but that doesn't mean that you can't overcome it, that you can't get out of it, that you can't do better, that you can't succeed in that situation and everything. And so having some type of accountability in like how much you prep, how hard you work for it, those types of things. So I think accountability comes not just when you do wrong, but also when you try and you don't succeed, kind of saying, reflecting on yourself and saying, what could I do differently? And maybe it is that, you know, maybe you couldn't do anything differently, and it was just the situation, just bad luck, right? Some person was better than you this time, but you want to be able to take that accountability and self-reflect and say, okay, what can I change? And then kind of going back to exactly what you said, right? That accountability is what leads you to be able to change, to do things differently, to do, you know, to move differently so that you can succeed the next time. So I just wanted to kind of broaden it to a little bit more than just when you make a mistake.
All right. And that you answered the second part too. Why is it important? My last part of the question, and you kind of hit on it, Razi, or I think you tiptoed to it and maybe not cross a complete threshold, is, so why is it so hard to be accountable? I think that's a big part.
We don't like to be wrong. We don't like to be wrong. Like, that's hard for a lot of people. It's not, you know, it's not beholden to a gender or a race. People just do not like to be wrong.
Yeah, I agree. And the reason I asked that third part is, I guess I'll answer mine backwards. And when you said is when you make a mistake. And like you said, nobody wants to be wrong. So when I'm not necessarily wrong, therefore I don't have to be accountable. So if I'm in a relationship and he cheats on me or she cheats on me, I'm not the cheater, so I'm not wrong. So I have nothing to be accountable for. You know, he's the bad guy. She's the bad person. Versus like, hey, should I have even been in this relationship? Was this relationship doomed from the beginning? Is there a pattern of infidelity in the people I'm choosing to date? And do I find myself getting in trouble at work a lot? You know, like, what are the things that you're being accountable for? So for me, accountability is the ability to reflect and understand one's part in all of your situations. Because you'll take accountability for the good stuff, right? So, because we automatically think accountability is negative. You know, if you're a single mom and you raise kids, you're accountable for all their success and all this stuff. You know, you want Mother's Day and Father's Day. You know, if you're a husband and you work a lot and stuff like that, and you feel like you put a roof over their head, you feel like you should get the rewards for your actions and your decisions, but you shouldn't get any of the blame for it. So the video I sent was referring to accountability when it comes to relationships, and he specifically, or she, I can't remember if it was a he or she now, was specifically talking about accountability when it comes to relationships and why men, you know, and there's just this talk, and I'm speaking general sense, and it's a running joke right now that women don't like the word accountability. They run from it. There's videos and memes and all kind of things where women are trying to stay away from being held accountable. And he said, the reason men want accountability, and it was when he said it, it was so simple, because accountability equals closure. And it equals, and Byron, you kind of hit on it, is equals growth. So if I'm asking, or you're asking me to be accountable for something, when I'm accountable for something, that means I accept my part in this. And when I accept my part, we can move on to like, so what do we do now? What is the growth? If I'm accountable for how things happen, now I can recognize and say, this shouldn't happen again. Hey, I'm sorry this happened. Or, hey, this should have never happened. This is my part on it. Now there's closure. There's no ambiguity, like where I feel like I wasn't all the way wrong, so I just might do this again, right? Because I wasn't wrong. You just weren't right. So now if there's no accountability, how do we know that this habit or this instance is going to stop? Because Byron is not admitting that he's wrong. So if this same situation comes up again, Byron never said he was right, but he ain't gonna say he's wrong, because we see that, we see that. So why would I think that Byron's not going to do this again? Because at no point did Byron ever recognize that he is wrong. He is partly responsible for some of the things that happen. And I've learned from this. And if I remove this from the situation, we can probably avoid the rest of the situation. Now, accountability can go two ways. Like I can be accountable for part of it. You can be accountable for part of it. But if it's only one person taking accountability or the other person refuses to take accountability, there's never closure. And I can't feel comfortable. The other person can't feel comfortable. There's growth. And it's important because you can't grow as people. You can't grow in a relationship if one person is the only person growing, right? We say be equally yoked. So if I'm growing in a relationship, you should be too. And neither one, but we believe there's nobody perfect. So if I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, how can that, one person grow? Razi, I see like you're debating, you're pushing back.
I'm not necessarily pushing back, but I just want to put my project manager hat on real quick. And so if you guys have ever been in project management or had to deal with projects or whatever, we have what we call a Razi chart. So it's responsible, accountable, consultant, informed. But we literally have to spell out who's responsible, who's accountable. And a lot of people don't look at those and understand the difference in them. And so I want to explain that and then kind of liken it to relationships. So responsible party on a Razi chart is the person that's responsible for the task. They are the person that needs to make it happen. But the accountable party is they are accountable, or they own the task to make sure that it happens and also the outcomes of it. And so with those two, when you differentiate those and you look at them from that lens, historically, men have been responsible or accountable for the relationship, mainly because women couldn't get out, right? Like, you got to think, women couldn't divorce, right? Women basically had to do what that guy said. So the guy was the accountable party for a relationship. He was the one that said whether we were going to be in a relationship or not, whether we could get out, what we were going to do in this relationship, how this relationship was going to work. And so a lot of where women don't feel like they need to take accountability comes from that historical kind of, hey, it's your fault. If we don't work out, it's your fault. Right? Like, I'm conditioned to be a wife. I'm conditioned to be the person in the helpmate and the submissive partner in it or whatever. And the guy owns this relationship. He's the accountable party. And I really feel like that's a little bit of it. They don't feel like they have to own that and be accountable for the relationship. If the relationship fails, it's the guy's fault. And we don't think that, right? I mean, we're sitting here like, no, it's not my fault. You're just as much accountable for our relationship. But I think that's a new power dynamic. That's a very different dynamic than we've seen up until the 40s, 50s, maybe 60s, when we really got into kind of somewhat equal in this, where women had a big say into it. And so it's a dynamic that we got to try to shift. We got to shift that accountability, that we both are accountable for this relationship, and not, you aren't just responsible for the tasks. Like, you can say, I cook, I clean, I do this thing, and I'm good. That's all I was. I did my part. You were supposed to do everything else. You're accountable for everything else.
So I agree with you partly, the historical aspect of it. But when it comes to, we're not in a relationship. When it comes to your individual life and I don't want to make it a woman thing or, because men do it too. I just feel like the world is way more conditioned to hold men accountable. Like we're held accountable, whether we want to or not, for the most part. I think I mentor, so I talk to my young guys and I hear them lacking accountability. But when it comes to your individual life, if me and her in a relationship, I understand that dynamic of, hey, I'm a little more traditional and men should be more, the head, and therefore you're accountable and stuff like that. When it comes to my marriage, one of the things I learned in premarital counseling is I manage my marriage. As the lead in my marriage and my household, you're responsible, therefore accountable for the things that happen. I get that. I'm not going tit for tat. I'm saying you're single. One of your favorite lines. What is it about your pussy that keeps attracting ain't shit niggas? Who's accountable in this situation? Is it all the dudes that you ended up with? Or should they be accountable because not into the 1950s and 40s did women have the chance? It's in 2024, you find yourself still dealing with the same guy. And the thing about it is you might be attracted to the same type person. You like a dude that looks this way, moves this way. I can't knock what you're attracted to, but at a certain point you have to think about your actions and decisions yield results. We talked about this earlier. When I was young, I can go out all night, drink, sleep in, all this stuff. Those are things that are fun. They probably still would be fun today if I didn't have a wife, 2 kids, a job, like all these things I had to take care of. I had to adapt, become accountable for my actions, because when I wasn't accountable for things, this is the life it yielded. When I became accountable for my actions and responsibilities, I had to step up. I can't say, well, I always like to go out and drink and, get sloppy drunk and come in because I've always that's what's fun to me. That's what I'm attracted. I can't help it. Okay, do that. How long are you going to keep this type job? How long are you going to keep your wife and kids happy? But then if I lose my wife and kids, guess what? I have to be accountable for my actions and realize that my responsibilities weren't met. I wasn't giving this person the attention and all this stuff. At the end of the day, so Byron, I feel like you're about to chime in. I feel like your wheels are spinning.
Well, no, I was
about to push back on Razi.
When you've mentioned the historical part of it, and when he said women are conditioned to be wives, I'm like recently?
No, not recently. And that's what I mean. The dynamic the dynamic has changed, right? It's like, but it's that was in their head, and that's what their moms taught them, right? And everything. Yeah. And so it's the dynamic has shifted. The times have changed, but I don't know if that mentality has changed much yet in the relationship side. But Ferg, to your point about like individual accountability, that, like you said, that's not a male or a female thing. That really is just as you mature, you are able to take accountability more. The reason why you have that conversation with boys, right, when you're mentoring, when you're talking to teenagers, boys and girls, none of them take accountability. It was the teacher's fault. It was their friend's fault. It was the bus driver's fault. It was everybody else's fault but theirs when they do something. And what ends up happening is, as certain people mature and they start taking accountability, those are the ones that I said that, they're the ones that can go above and beyond the situation, right? They're not going to blame systemic racism in this society and the man held me down and the Illuminati caused all of this. And there's this cabal out there that's doing all this. They're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to go and I'm going to make it happen for myself. Those are the people that can actually hold and make it accountable. The folks that can't, the folks that are screaming Illuminati, screaming that, that person's an industry plant. I ain't gonna say no names on who was talking about that. But those type of people lack a little bit of accountability on themselves to be able to say, no, I just made the choices that I made. And so I can't be the guy anymore, because and that new person came in and they did what they had to do, so they're the guy now. They didn't give me the manager job, and yes, I cussed out the old manager 2 weeks ago, but I still should have been the manager because I've been here the longest, right? Like, those are the people that lack that accountability to be able to get there. And so you have to mature to where you can actually hold yourself accountable for your actions and stop blaming everybody else.
Because if you can't close out that chapter and learn from it and move on, then you're just not going to grow. And it's especially important in relationships and life, and I'll leave with this. Razi was like my accountability partner years ago when it came to my finances. I found myself struggling. And once again, let's throw in all the external factors, coming from a family that didn't really have much and didn't know a lot about this, didn't know a lot about that. But at the end of the day, it's not about, sometimes we have to realize it's not about where you end up, it's where you come from. So my growth, it's a hell of a lot of growth. For some people, this might be their starting point. But considering where I started and where I'm at now, I mean, it's so many levels to that. But it was him who had to make, what is your credit score? We can't talk about finances and growing your credit if you don't know your credit score. You're accountable for your credit score. Your credit score didn't just happen. Like, you didn't just wake up and all of a sudden your credit score sucked. I had to take accountability and, because it was like, man, my credit sucks. I can't do anything. I had the woe is me. I didn't want to take accountability for that. But when I did, I had to accept where I was at, that I was making, it's something about my ain't credit. They keep giving me ain't credit cards and ain't credit limits and, ain't interest rate. That's what happened. It was something about the decisions I was making, and I had to be accountable and recognize those things, that it was me. It wasn't the world making my credit suck. It wasn't. No matter how much I wanted to push that off on nobody teaching me, nobody, giving me any help financially, it was decisions I made. Should I have moved back home with my mom, or try to stay with my dad, or get a part-time job to pay this off, or, when I get cut my credit cards, or whatever it was, I could have done that. It made a difference. So, that's my 2 cents.
I can go. Mine again might be short. I'm liking these short kind of just one-liners from everybody lately, and so this one's really simple. I saw a post and they were like, Monday is a better day to be off than Friday, and I want to ask you fellas, what's the best day to take off? Is it breaking up your week? Is it taking on Friday? Is it taking on Sunday or Monday? What's the best day to take off, and why would you take that day versus any other day if you only got like one day out of the week to take off?
It's a simple answer.
Yes.
Yeah. There's another answer.
I love taking off days, so it doesn't matter when it is. But to answer your question, probably Monday. Monday. It's probably Monday. Yeah,
that's the right answer, by the way.
Why is that?
It's because
Ferg lives somewhere with a lot of traffic, so I don't know if it's like this in Houston, but here on Fridays, most people take off anyway, so traffic isn't as bad as it is any other day during the week. And then at work, Friday is usually the easier day of the 5 work days at work, so it's damn near like an off day. So versus Monday, everybody's out there, everybody's going to work, you fighting traffic. On top of that, you coming off the weekend, like you have that feeling of, man, on Sunday, you're like, man, if I just had one more day. Versus when Thursday hits going into Friday, you damn near looking forward to, you're like, man, tomorrow, Friday. You got to go to work, but once you get off work, you free for the next couple of days. So the attitude of going to work on Friday versus going to work on Monday, if you can eliminate Monday, you Gucci, baby.
Yeah, Byron, I mean, that was an excellent analysis. I didn't think about the traffic and everything like that because I drive every day for work, so I'm just used to being in traffic. But it's Friday. Do you guys ever go out on a Friday?
Yeah.
Yep.
What time you go out on a Friday?
After work?
8, 9 o'clock, maybe 10 if we know.
So if you were
Friday.
off on Friday, what would change about? You just don't have to wake up early, right?
Right.
The benefit, guess what? You don't have to wake up early Monday, right? And you probably went to sleep at a decent time Thursday anyway, so waking up is not that big of a deal. But taking off Friday, you're probably going to just sit around prepping for two things are going to happen. You're going to sit around prepping for the hangout for Friday night or the rest of the weekend, right? And so if either way, if you go hard half a day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, let's say that you kicking it hard, guess what you're going to wish you would have had? Monday off.
Yep.
Right? I'm like, man, by the end of the day, Sunday, you're going to already be thinking like, man, I probably need to start winding down. I got to go to work. I'm going to be going hard all weekend. And so now Sunday's almost spoiled because you're thinking about how you're going to feel Monday versus taking Monday off. You at work Friday, half chilling, probably texting back and forth, talking about what you going to do when you get off this weekend. But dog, meet me at the Airbnb. I'm going to swing through that. I'm going to swing by the liquor store, pick up a bottle. We going to do that. Yeah, whatever the case may be. Or, my flight leaves at 6, so I'm going to leave the house about 3 o'clock. Like, you can prep for Friday. Because it's only Friday taking off almost gives you only a half day of kicking. Even if you stay at home, you're not going to, everybody else is at work. There's no real, if you're hanging out, there's no real benefit to it. Right? Because you're only going to enjoy half that day. Versus Monday, after all the festivities are gone, you wake up Monday morning, like Byron says, people going to work, you sitting in your Louis robe with your newspaper, sipping your coffee, eating your croissants, cheese Danish. Like, you're chill. You're chill. And guess what? You get to roll into the rest of the week. And it's something about having a short week going from Tuesday to Friday, because you still get the benefit of a short week with a Friday at the end versus a short week where Monday, Tuesday, because you already don't want to be able to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday you won't have anyway. You get 3.5 days that week when you take off Monday versus still having to work 4 days when you take off Friday.
All right,
and that is the correct answer.
Let's expand it then. If you got a 4-day weekend, do you take the Friday or do you take the Tuesday? At that point.
Oh, Friday. Because everybody has a 4-day. If everybody has a 4-day week?
No. If you need a 4-day, say you got to fly somewhere, do whatever. Do you take Tuesday or do you take Friday?
You take Friday through Monday.
It's Friday then?
Yeah. Because going back to work on a Wednesday sucks. My week's halfway over. I don't. Have you ever had to just go back? Like, I don't want to go in. Like, it just it's Thursday. Thursday becomes your new Friday.
It's like you gotta sham on Friday, right? Like, no work getting done on Friday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, half day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, half day Thursday. So you get, in a 10-day work week, you really work. Yeah, you work Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 3.5 days on the back end.
Yeah,
and
like
then
five and a half days.
Yeah, because if you work, when you come back, you work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, half day Friday. So that's 3.5 days. The week before you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 7 days, 3.5 day weeks.
So you get an extra day. You get an extra day of vacation by doing Friday through Monday.
Yeah. And then you don't have to like just 2 short weeks back to back.
True.
2 short weeks back to back is better than 1 short week.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, yeah, I was almost thinking like taking a Wednesday. Like,
well, he kind of, when he threw, if you got to fly somewhere, so this changes. Like if it's just a regular week, then yeah, I want Friday and Monday off. If I'm gonna have a 4-day weekend. But if I'm flying somewhere, and I need you listeners to listen up because I see a lot of y'all vacationing very, very wrong. You don't go to work the next day after you land back home. You need that buffer day. So if you land back home on Sunday, you need to be off Monday. If you land on Monday, you need to be off Tuesday. You need a buffer day. The last thing I want to do is land and start thinking about what I got to do for work tomorrow. Have a buffer day.
I agree with you.
mm-hmm.
But
a regular week though, Friday and Monday all day.
But if you're traveling, it depends on the event, like homecoming. So like if I do homecoming, I take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And I go back Monday.
You go back Monday? Ooh, after that?
But I'm a half that's Monday. But this is a time I wish I would have taken off. Every homecoming, I wish I would have taken off Monday.
What you should do is you should take that half day. You should fly out Thursday afternoon.
On Friday.
And so you're there, you land Thursday night, hit it hard. As soon as you get off the plane, change clothes and you out there. And then you got Friday, Saturday, fly back Sunday, and take Monday off. So you shouldn't be taking Thursday off.
That's what I should do. So because I fly back in, I usually leave early Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning. I mean, early Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning. Damn, homecoming started jumping on Thursday though, bruh.
It does, but it Thursday jumping on evening, night. So if you're flying in.
It's, by Thursday, especially back in the day, we used to have the crab boil Thursday. So that's when bros are pulling in town, all this stuff. I don't know, bro. Byron, you give me something to think about. I have not mastered the take a chill day.
Yeah, that buffer day, baby. You need that. And also, respect Fridays. Unless it's dire, if you go somewhere that closes at 5 and it's Friday, don't pull up at that people place at 4:50. Just go and charge it to the game. You know they ready to go home. Let them people be. Let them lock the doors a couple of minutes early, man. Unless it's like some dire, like sometimes you gotta, take care of some official business. But other than that, let people enjoy it. Respect Fridays. Respect other people's Fridays.
Yeah,
okay? That's all. I want that, man. Oh man. So,
all right. With that being said, let's go ahead and close it on out, fellas. Who wants to kick it off?
So I had a lot to say at the beginning of the show, so I'm gonna shorten it for the end of the show. I did mention how Nick Saban is retiring, and up until just last month when I started rooting against Alabama because of their fans and their arrogantness. I can't talk today. The arrogancy. How about that? Yeah, but it was earned. Like, you guys won 6 national championships under him. It was earned. I didn't care for some of the comments, so I rooted against y'all this year. But up until this past December, me living up here in Virginia, I always root when Florida State couldn't make it. I always root for Alabama or Auburn if they made it to the championship, because that represents back home. And whether I hated you guys now or whatever, facts are facts. Nick Saban was one hell of a coach. That was one hell of a dynasty you guys had in Tuscaloosa. And I'm not even certain it's over. We'll see who they hire, because he may have left it where the foundation is there to where as long as you're half decent at recruiting, you can keep that machine rolling. But it was a hell of a run. Most championships ever by any coach. And hell, a couple of plays away from winning maybe 2 or 3 more championships.
Mm-hmm.
So, hell of a run for him. Job well done, man. He is the GOAT, hands down, in my opinion. So I just wanted to just acknowledge him and the run he had at Alabama, had a championship at LSU as well. And I mentioned this also before on a couple episodes ago. It's just amazing to me because I'm watching Congress operate and what they're doing over in the House. And again, I'll just say, Joseph W. Martin Jr. was the Republican Speaker of the House from 1953 to 1955. And because I don't know much about him, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he left the Speaker of the House in good shape. Since then, every single Republican speaker has left under chaos, whether it's Newt Gingrich, Denny Hassard, Speaker Boehner, Paul Ryan, Kevin McCarthy. And now you're hearing rumbles that the new speaker may get replaced. They may need to just hand the reins over to the Democrats for a while, because they cannot have just like a quiet, calm where they run the House and get things done. Since 1955, that's just amazing to me that every Republican speaker since 1955.
See, it's cute, bro. It's cute. The fact that you think that shit matters. It doesn't matter. Like, what is the downfall to having a piss poor Republican Speaker of the House? I'll wait. Not a goddamn thing. Because they're gonna do it again. As long as they have the majority. Like it's
because they don't care. They really don't care about governing. They want to push through one or two things that they really want to make happen.
That allows them to
continue their machine, and then that's it. That's all they care about.
And I'm not even talking about the whole governing part or their effectiveness. I'm just saying, like, every past Republican speaker you mentioned, you just say, hey, give me a quick summary on Kevin McCarthy. Well, he's the Speaker of the House, but his members voted him out. And even before he got the speakership, he had to go a near record like 20 times to even be voted in. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Well, tell me about Denny Hassard. Well, he fondled some boys when he was in school, so he got... Damn, okay, tell me about Newt Gingrich. Well, his wife had cancer and he was cheating on her and he left her while she was still in the hospital. Damn. Okay, tell me about Boehner. They forced him out. Paul Ryan, they forced him out. Damn. That's all.
I'm waiting on you to tell me the downfall. And the point is what? You still get to do it. It's not like okay, y'all fuck up 2 times, you forfeit the next 5 years, 10 years. Like, it's no downfall. We're gonna put somebody else in there. Like, it's just it is what it is. American politics.
Other than that, shout out Contentville. People, get your 3 Brothers No Sense merch, because we gonna be on that float come Skinny Monday. And if we see you with the hoodie on, we see you with the hat, the shirt, we are aiming for you guys. We loading up on the throws. We gonna hook it up. Yeah. Get your merch, support us. We gonna be in the building. Shout out Contentville. Make sure you subscribe to 3 Brothers No Sense on Contentville and any other podcast platform.
Oh, you going to the Sneaker Ball, by the way? Anybody?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Oh yeah.
Ready.
I'm just making sure.
We're gonna be in that thing.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm wearing, man. I done pulled out my 7 different outfits. I don't know what I'm wearing.
That mean he coming with something serious.
Nah, man. No, I shouldn't even say that, because I don't know. I have a couple options for shoes, and I don't know what I want to wear, and so now I think it's gonna be last minute. Like last year, I knew what I was wearing. This year, I don't know what I'm wearing.
Yeah,
I pride myself on trying to have the only pair of sneakers in the bar. I think I was the only one with the pair I had on last year. I think I'm going to be the only one with this pair this year as well. We'll see.
Yeah, same. I remember I was wearing the next day last year, so because my shoes hadn't dropped yet. So I was doing that, and same thing this year. So yeah, definitely ready for that one, man. All I want to say is happy Jonathan Majors Day. I mean MLK Day. So to all y'all out there, yeah, Jonathan Majors got on this interview.
You ain't shit for that one. You ain't shit for that one.
He said he's a great man, and he doubled down, and he said that Megan Good stood by him like Coretta. So that man is living in his dream, as Ferg said last couple episodes. He's living his dream. Or was it? No, that was Cat Williams, actually. Cat Williams said you got to live your dream, and you got to live it better than everybody else. And so we are living in Jonathan Majors' dream right now, and y'all just got to understand that MLK Day is now officially Jonathan Majors Day.
You give me.
I think Chappelle said that, didn't he? Living your dream. Didn't Chappelle say that?
That was his name of his special.
Yeah, that was the name of his special, Living Your Dream. Yeah, but remember Cat Williams giving the comment. He was giving the analogy about being in somebody's like. Was that Chappelle in his special? Because his special was out around the same time. So it might have been that. Yeah. Okay, all right. So that was Chappelle. Okay, all right, cool.
So I'm gonna take credit. I'm gonna be accountable and take credit for the fact that you're confusing my sayings with either Chappelle or Cat Williams, which I don't know. I don't know how I feel now that I say it out loud. Either Ferg, Cat Williams, or Dave Chappelle said,
one of those three. So, and the next thing I want to do is I want to shout myself out because I'm doing something right. Because my son, he said that he was doing some desk work, and on there they asked about Martin Luther King, and they said, why were the white people so mad and angry and mean to black people before civil rights? And my son, on his little sheet that he had to turn into, his teacher said, because they racist.
I thought Ollie's going to give some in-depth,
I was like, that's all you put in? He's like, yeah, he said, because they're racist.
This too is because of racism.
There it is right there.
So I was like, my man.
Nice job, Ollie.
Yeah. So that's all I got, man.
That is hilarious. I don't know. I'll make it simple. It's beginning of the year. 2024 is gonna be if the rest of the year goes anything like these last few months. Shout out to Club Shay Shay. Razi flexing with his is it just called Shay?
Yeah, it's just called Shay. Like Porter Cognac.
Portier.
It's the Poirier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lex.
You should tag him on Twitter.
Okay. All right. I got you.
People don't get caught up. Ain't nothing changed. Keep your head down. Keep working. This 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. So strap yourself in. Get ready for the ride. With that being said, 3 Brothers No Sense. 6 Rules of Podcast. Listen. Hold on.
I'm sorry. I posted the Baby Phat jacket on our Facebook page, and somebody said every pregnant girl in school had that jacket.
I feel like I see it. I feel like I see it. So Apple
Andrea Early, shout out to you because she made the comment.
Baby Phat.
I'm sorry for interrupting, bro.
Baby Phat, bubble jacket, apple bottom jeans. Oh god! Wow, now I can't unsee it. Okay. Ooh. 3 Brothers No Sense, 6 Rules of Podcast. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.